Good morning, everyone. So, I'm Pankaj again with a new topic, conditional statements in C. So, in last lecture, we have talked about loops, which is a basic building block for learning a programming language. So, irrespective of it is C or any other language, these are the building blocks for learning any programming language. So, today I am covering one of that topic which is essential in every programming language, conditional statements. So let's have a quick introduction of the conditional statements. So conditional branching or statements are used to execute a group of statements. So how we build a program? We build a program by writing set of instructions, right? So when we write set of instructions, at some point of time we want few instructions needs to be executed based on some condition. So this construct of the programming language talks about this only, that whenever you want to have a branching in the execution of the statements in a program, then you use the conditional branching in that, right? Now loop statements are used to execute the piece of code repeatedly, right? We learned that in last lecture. And when we are doing something repeatedly and we want some piece of code within that loop to be executed based on some conditions, there also we can apply these conditional branching in your program. And the include the libraries which we are including, right? Those libraries can also be included based on the conditions we apply on the program, right? That we can also say it is required to understand when we are learning the conditional branching. Now, how conditional statements used? So these are used to execute, right, a group of statements if some condition is true. So this is the important important thing to understand. So whenever you are saying that this set of code needs to be executed based on certain conditions when it is true, right, then we apply the conditional statements for the condition which we have mentioned and which we think that it needs to be true. But if it is false, then we have an alternative branch of piece of code to get executed. So this line talks about that only, which I just mentioned. If it is false, then other group of statements are executed, right? So in layman language, when we talk about anything, let's suppose you are giving an example of going from here to a nearby place. Let's suppose I take an example of Noida 18, and I want to explain someone that from here in this college AKGEC you want to move from here to sector 18, right? Now to move from here to sector 18, you can place some condition for that person. If you take this route, then you will reach there in 30 minutes. And if you not take this route and you take the alternative route, you will reach there in 15 minutes. So these kind of conditions, when are applicable in the program, when you are writing a program, then we apply these conditional statements. Very basic building block, but very essential to write very complex programs. Now, types of conditional statement. So looking at things very from the very basic perspective. So these are the typical two types of conditional statement: if statements and switch statements, right? So let's move ahead on this. When we talk about if statement, then it is the two way of decisioning, right? As I just mentioned, if the condition is true, do this. So it's a two-way decision making. There are 4 types of if statements. this can be further broken down into four types based on the need of the program. Although it is if, means if you talk about the conditional statement, the only thing which is required to understand is if and else condition, right? Now based on their application in the program, it can be further classified into the four types: simple if statement, if else statement, nested if else statement, else if ladder. Means you have lot of if else condition in your program, so you are making a ladder of the conditions. Though it is not a good practice to have such sort of code to be written with respect to the code readability and the code maintainability, but yes, sometimes it is required to have such conditions in a program to make it run or to make it run correctly, right? So simple if statement, if else statement, nested if else statement, else if ladder, right? Now let's have a quick understanding of things further. So I think there is some problem in this. It is not moving to the backward. Okay, so let's go back, right? Cover the full prospect of the if statement, and then we will move to all these diagrams. So we were there where I just talked about the if statement can be further classified into four types, right? Now simple if statement, it's a two-way decision making statements without else part. Means you do not need any alternative in program. You just need some sort of piece of code, some sort of code needs to be executed only if this condition is true. Else whatever is running there, whatever the program is doing, let's have that. But if you want certain piece of code to be executed based on some condition, then you can apply the simple if statement, right? Now the syntax of this is, you need to have this keyword, right? This is the keyword. If this is a reserved keyword in most of the programming language including C, and this is the expression which needs to be evaluated. So we need to understand what does the expression means the when we execute that expression, either it will return a it will return a boolean for me, either true or false. So so let's suppose I give you an example: A is equal to 5 and B is equal to 6. Is A is less than B? Yes, of course it is true. So this is an expression, right? Now this expression, if it is true, the piece of code within this block will get executed, right? So this is how it is written there. If this expression is true, this piece of code, means all the statement under this will get executed, right? So very simple concept. And if this piece of code is returning false, let's suppose it is 5, but I have now changed it to 8. I change it to 8. Now this condition is false. Then nothing will be executed within this block, since this condition is false now. And just after the closure of this braces, all the statements get executed, right? So let's have a quick look of the flow of if and else instructions, as a diagram. So here you have a test expression, this one, and now if it is false, then this statement will get executed. if it is true, then the statement blocks within the if, right, these get executed. So it's a simple flow diagram, right, of if. Now it's a explanation of what I just what I just mentioned in the last slide. So it is again saying the same thing which I just explained. First, the test expression is evaluated. If the result of the test expression is true, then the statement block inside the if statement is executed and the control comes outside of the block. Same thing, right? If the condition is true, the statements within the if blocks get executed. If not, the statements outside of that block get executed, right? This is correct. Now let's have a quick look of a simple program, right? What is the absolute value of a given number? So what does absolute value means? Let's suppose you have -1 as a value of a. So what would be this variable is going to create? So impact means the positive nonsense of this value, means -1 would be +1. So absolute value of a, though the value of a is -1, but the absolute value will be 1, the positive value of this. And if this number would have been a positive one, means 2, then it's remains same. The impact is 2. So the absolute value of a in that case would be 2, right? So that's a quick explanation. Now let us have a quick review of the program for this logic we just discussed. So what is there is, we have a program written where we are asking a number from the user. The user is giving you a number, right? Once this program get executed, this is the way in C we can prompt the user to enter a number, and then this scanf is actually taking the value in the variable which is being entered by the user. Now we are checking this value if it is less than n. Since user may enter a negative value, then we have to make that negative value to positive to get the absolute value, right? Which I just explained. So here what we have put in, here the condition is, the conditional statement is if the value is less than 0, means if it is, in the first example, if it is -1 is less than 0, this is absolutely correct, then this block get executed, right? And it will have the value n assigned to -n, means n is now assigned to -n. The value the user has input is -1, so minus means plus, +1, so the absolute value is 1, right? The absolute value of a number is the magnitude without considering its sign. I just explained the impact it is creating, right? So in simple terms, it's the numerical value of the real number without regard to its sign, whether positive or negative, right? Correct. So discard the sign out of the number and then have the impact of the number. So that's the absolute value. And we have just checked that how a program can use to get the absolute value of a number which is being input by the user. This, since the user can input a negative number also, so we have put in the condition there, right? Now if else statements, I just mentioned in the last slides that we can have an alternative path also. So if this is not, then what else? So what else is being handled by this else statement, right? Now what's the syntax for if? It is same. We have if as a keyword, then expression, and then the sequence of blocks. But if it is false, then what we will do, we need to have another keyword like else, right? So here you can see that else, and the piece of codes which you want to execute if this expression is false, right? And then rest of the program, rest of the statements. So I can say that statement 2, statement 3, out of this, right? Statement block 1, block 2 is for if and else, and then rest of the statements, these are not blocks, statements of the programs which will get executed if the any of this block is get executed, right? Now we can have a quick look of this, right? The flow diagram. Something as an expression, if it is true, this block get executed. If it is false, this block get executed, right? So we have two blocks which are executed based on this expression if it is true and false, right? And then once these blocks get executed, rest of the program is getting executed. This is the flow diagram of if else, right? Execution steps, I already explained this. It is written in the plain English there, so we can navigate through all the points for the better understanding, even better understanding, I would say. Let's move the back slide. So execution of if else statement, first test expression is evaluated. Then if the result of the test expression is true, this is the area to empathize. The statement block 1 inside the statement is executed and control goes outside of the if block. No else block will get executed. Now if the expression, test expression is false, right? Otherwise means if it is false, now false, case of false, the statement block 2 inside the else block is executed and the control goes outside of the else block, right? No if block will get executed. And the right, so this is the explanation. Now we have a simple program to find the larger of the two numbers. So we have two numbers and we want to find the larger, right? So what we will do, we will have two numbers which we will get from the user, right? Again, we are prompting to the user, enter the values of A and B, right? And then scanning those values, right? And then we are using the if and else block to make the decision. So if A is greater than B, means any of the value can be greater, right? User may input A equal to 1 and B equal to 2, right? User can input this. Even user can reverse this, A equal to 2 and B equal to 1. So for these two set of data, we need to have two different results. In the first condition, since B is greater, then the result should be, answer should be B is larger. But in second case, A is larger. So let's put these input in our program. A is greater than B. A is greater than B. No. So false. B is larger. Correct? Now put these into this program. If A is greater than B, of course, based on the inputs, yes, true. So A is larger. So this is how the conditions are getting executed, right, in the program. Next is, this is the output, right? For this set of inputs, we can check again the program. Now, again, one more program. Do you know, having the practice of these essential building blocks make you confident when you write the program. So the third program which we are seeing here based on the conditional statements is to check whether the given number is odd or even, right? So we have a quick look of this program also. So here what we are doing, this is the modulus operator, right? This is the modulus operator. Now, whatever the number which is being given by the user when you are prompting that enter value, if it is scanned in this variable a, so user may have input. So input can be 2, input can be, user can input, right, 14, and even user can input 3, 1. So all these are different inputs. Input 1, input 2, input 3, and input 4. Right. So for all these set of inputs, let's check this condition. This modulus is a reminder. If the reminder will be 0, so every number which is divisible by 2 is even, right? This is the simple math concept. So we have applied this in based on the programming. For reminder, we have this operator, modulus operator. So for 2 modulus 2 is 0. Yes, of course. If we divide 2 by 2, right, we will get reminder as 0. So 2 will be even. If we have this input 14 again, the reminder will be 0 if we divide 14 by 2. So again it will say that 14 is a even number, correct? Now for 3, the reminder will be 1. So else condition will get executed since it is not 0. So the number will be odd. Of course 3 is odd. Now for 1, again the reminder will not be 0. So the 1 will be the odd number since the else part will get executed. So we may have another set of input 36. 36 is divisible by 2. You will get reminder 0. So this will get executed. 36 is even. I hope you will be able to understand that this is a very important construct to understand in any programming language, and it is essential to have a walkthrough through the programs so that it can give you a better understanding of this topic. Now we can nest the if and else statement. Nest means if and then within that if, again if statement, nested if statement, or you can have different if and else statements, right, in a program. So how it looks like this. So you have if but based on certain expression, your condition is getting true or false. If it is true, then again within that if block you are executing some if and else statements. So this if can have other if and else within the block, its block, right? And similar can happen with the else statement also. So for this if, we can have an else statement, and in that else statement we can have if, else, right, if block and then else block. So this is the nesting of if and else statement, right? So for very complex program, this usually happens that we have these set of this set of valuation we need to do in the program, right? So it is completing that which I just written over here, right? All right. So flowchart of if nested if else statement. It will be little complex one, but we will able to understand it. So don't worry about that. We will able to quickly understand it. Let's have a quick lookup of this, right? So what is happening? If your program get executed, some condition is getting executed in your program. It can be true or false. Maybe if expression which can be true and false. Maybe mean, I'm not saying maybe, it will be a if condition for which there is an expression will evaluated as true or false, right? If it is true, then again a new condition is getting executed within this block, this true block, right? It can also have result true or false. Of course, if it is true, then something is happening. If it is false, something is happening, and then the statement out of that are getting executed. Out of that chaining is getting executed. Same with the case of false. In case of false, we can have again some set of conditions within this false block, means else block, and then again if this expression, right, and then it can evaluate it as true or false. So true or else part of this, right? So this is the way of writing very complex logics in your programs and getting the result out of what you are intended to build, right? Now we have a program for checking a year is leap year or not, right? So by definition, the year, if it is divisible by 4 and not divisible by 100, if any year which is divisible by 4 and not divisible by 100, it is a leap year. And if the year is divisible by 400, if it is divisible by 400, directly it's a leap year. But if the number is divisible by 4 but not divisible by 100, so it's a mix and match of the conditions. You see the complexity of this program, right? Now what will happen is, we will have all these blocks there, correct? And all these blocks there to get executed within these if and else blocks. So here it is our choice to have put this divisible by 400 condition here, right, and print directly that it's a leap year, and in else have different conditions for 4, right, for 4 and for 100. So you just work out on this program, you will get an idea that here we are checking first the if condition, and if it is not true, means directly the year which is being entered by the user is not divisible by 400, then what will happen is this if else block will not get executed, the else block will get executed. And for the else condition, we have within that else 2 conditions are there. If it is divisible by 4 and not divisible, so there are logical operators also which can be part of this program. So I would say I encourage you to build this program right by your own, and then have a look and an understanding of the if else very clearly. Thanks for being here to understand this with me. Thank you so much.